As you can tell from today's title, this is going to be a different type of video. But I find that it's imperative, it's my responsibility and obligation to address things that are outright false. And so that's what I'm attempting to do here. So listen to me. If you're not into atheist YouTube drama, please feel free to turn away right about now. But to paraphrase Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., a lie cannot live forever. So back in April, I received a text message from a friend telling me that some prominent content creators were spreading some pretty concerning rumors about me. Now, some of this I was already aware of based off of an incident that took place in November, which I fully addressed it that same week in a video called I Don't Owe You That. I addressed it in the introduction of my Sunday session series for that week. And really haven't turned back to it since. But I did notice that there were still some people who were emotionally unsettled, for a lack of better words. And I figured that would be so. That's just typically how the world goes sometimes. But when I was contacted in April, I was unaware that things had kind of evolved to this stature. And I remember reaching out to my team, like, "Whoa, have y'all seen any of this?" And they were like, "No, we ain't seen any of it." And so we're just all kind of wondering what in the world that's going on. And just not to keep you into the dark too long, I'm going to share some screenshots just so you know what we're talking about, and just so that I don't run the risk of being epistemologically irresponsible, right? So I want to share with you some information and we're going to walk through this very briefly. I do not plan on being in front of you long. This is not going to be a very highly produced or polished video. So let's go to screenshot number one. This is the first one that was sent to me. Now, actually, before I go there, let me give a little context to what was going on here. These comments are in response to a video that was shared of mine on the Friendly Atheists Facebook page. He shared it. He solicited conversation about it. Conversation seemed overwhelmingly positive. And then this happened. Anyone, and this is, for those of you who do not know, this is Mandisa Latifa Thomas of Black Nonbelievers, the organization that has been in existence for 15 years. Anyone who has followed Darante's path in this short time will know that he tried to replicate a number of already existing programs, including a call-in show. However, because he ultimately cannot work well with others and because he is too argumentative, they never work out. And yeah, he's sexist and still a pastor at heart. Now, that was interesting. I won't address the most of that, but we'll just kind of set the pattern. I find the part, let me, I find the part where he's still a pastor at heart to be hilarious because I don't know exactly what the flaw there is supposed to be. But hey, it is what it is. But as you can see, apparently, Mandisa says that I've tried call-in shows, but because I can't get along with anybody, I guess I'll have to ask Kyle Butler. I guess he and I stopped getting along because he was my only co-host for the ex-pastor call-in show. And I think in the last show, I let everybody know why I was stopping to do the show. Kyle has been back on the channel since then, just this year. So I don't know where that comes from, but that's what happens when people develop the habit of speaking on things that they really don't know anything about, which that's fine. People have the right to say whatever they want to say. And quite honestly, as long as they keep it off of my page, I'm pretty okay. So this is the next one. This is somebody named TK Joe. Now, I honestly have no clue who this person is, but they said Darante is butthurt about not being on a call-in show. Again, so of course he has some dog shit take as usual, but I guess he's not being a sexist asshole this time, just an asshole. Christians are individuals, conversations that spur critical. I don't know why I'm doing the voice, but I don't think the rest of this is about me. Oh, no, it is. Christians are individuals, conversations that spur critical thinking along with resources like RFR may not be the best course, but are we demonstrating a better way or just shitting on former employers? Who are my former employers? Channels that realize this guy is fake as hell, crybaby. Now, again, I don't even know who this person is. And that's kind of the danger of parasocial relationships because I've only had like 3 conversations with Mandisa. And the last conversation that I had with her as far as working together, I let her know that I was not interested in working with her. There was no argument that took place. And again, this TKA guy, maybe y'all know who he is. And then Casey Gleason, which I'm pretty sure some of you remember their name. But it seems like somebody was responding. So I don't watch every one of his videos, but I haven't noticed Darante being a sexist pig. I will concede that maybe I missed something. But if that's the case, you would be right in that those who with sexist views should not be promoted. And we'll get to what he's responding to in a few. And then Casey Gleason says, he sent my husband a voice message telling him to control me. Mark those words. She said, he sent my husband voice message telling him to control me because I dared to mention the lack of diversity at an event he was speaking at. And again, event that I was speaking at, not an event that I was hosting. And she was not the first person to mention it. It was Cynthia who mentioned it, which I had already asked Cynthia to take it up with the organizers. And which she said, why can't Cynthia talk about it here? And to which I replied, I don't owe anybody an explanation of why I don't want certain things discussed on my page. Freedom, right? You know, anyway, so we'll keep going. We'll keep going. And because this is all under the same thread. This is all of these people have, jumped under the same thread. And so someone says Darante makes great points. If you find yourself in discussions with Believer, he's definitely worth a subscribe. And then Matt Dillahunty just comes out of nowhere and says, couldn't disagree more. Sexist pigs don't deserve subs. And that got 2 little loves. I should just be on the Facebook page so we can see who those loves are. I'll give you some lucky guesses. So, there's that. And again, just to show part 2 of that, this was Matt adding more. I don't take advice from sexist people who tell you to get your wife under control. But he's not wrong here, which seems that him and TKA Joe have a difference of opinion here because TKA Joe thought that I was absolutely wrong and just butthurt. But Matt thinks I'm just a sexist pig who told someone to get their wife under control. But for the video, I'm not wrong here. The shows are only good potential of what the process is. And so then someone says, good call out for RFR. Is this why Darante, I'm guessing that's supposed to be why. Is this why Darante hasn't been on the line in a while? Yikes. And this is what got me. Matt said, yes. Now that was actually the only of the ones that I really took offense to. People want to call me a misogynist or whatever. That's on them. That's highly subjective. Even once I show you what I actually said, there still probably will be some people who will say, oh, I still think that was a little too far. And maybe, and we live in different worlds. It is what it is. But that last part, is this why he was removed from we haven't seen him on the line? And Matt said yes. Now, I wanted to do a video about this then, back in April. And I sat with it for a while. And then I thought about it. I said, you know what? Matt is only implying that this is why I'm no longer on the line. He's not actually saying that I was fired from the line. He's not actually saying that I was removed from the line. So, you know what? Rumors are rumors. People say what they say. They do what they do, and they think what they think. Oh, but then this morning, I get a text message from another friend. And she was checking out one of Britt Hartley's video and the back and forth between Matt and Britt. And someone had commented that they really enjoyed something that I said, my perspective. And I'll show you that. And this was Chip. And Chip, if you're watching, I hope you get to see this. He said, I watched a video response by Darante Lamar this morning in which he approached the subject from a very nuanced sociological perspective. I honestly couldn't summarize it very well, but at 10201, what Britt is talking about sounds a little like what Darante is doing with Brit City. I guess I'm at a point of it's complicated. I really don't like the word spirituality for many reasons. I also understand why it's a concept that helps many other people. I think Britt's idea of stealing the word back from religion is tilting at windmills and will never happen. And then Matt Dillahunty, he's Sans deity, for those of you who did not know. He says, and this is just a month ago. Now, this other one was back in April, so it's just like, all right, whatever. But this one, or it was back in April when I was notified of it, so I'm assuming it took place around the same time. But this one happened just a month ago, according to this screenshot, which was taken this morning. and sent to me. And so just a month ago, Matt explicitly says Darante is a sexist buffoon. Now I'm okay. So I'm sexist. I'm misogynist. I'm a pig. I'm argumentative. I'm butthurt, and I am also now a buffoon who told someone to get their wife in check. I guess that's the same as control your wife. We'll see. And it says, we kicked him off of the line and he had nothing to teach me. Now, I don't know when I ever signed up to teach Matt anything. I don't know if he's just an angry old man, but it's this part right here. We kicked him off the line. Uh, and he had nothing to teach me. And of course, Chip Payet says, what? I had no idea. All right, so now let's talk about this because there are two conflated, but two distinct rumors that have been promoted by Matt Dillahunty, Mandisa Latifa Thomas, Black non-believers of 15 years, TKA Joe, and Casey Gleason. According to all of these people, I am a misogynist. I'm a misogynist. It sounds like massage in there. I'm a masseuse. No, according to these people, I'm a misogynist. All right, so let's look at what got me labeled as a misogynist. So, of course, many of you already know about this because I talked about this in a video back in November when this happened. The name of that video is I Don't Owe You That. It is available both in live version and the recorded version. So you can find it on both my videos feed and my live feed. It's there. Or just type in Darante Lamar, I don't owe you that. And within the first 20 minutes of the speaking part of the video, I will be addressing that situation. So if you choose the video version instead of the live version, it gets to it very quickly. But in essence, some people wanted to have a conversation on my page about about a conference that I was not hosting, a conference that I was invited to participate in. And I asked them to take that conversation to the organizers, and they decided they shouldn't have to take it to the organizers. And I asked them, well, to keep it off my page. And then they decided they could argue about keeping it off of my page, and I blocked them. And then after doing so, I reached out to one of their husbands. I'll explain why I reached out to the husband, because I didn't know her, and she had already demonstrated herself to be foolish. Like, I'm arguing with a random stranger about posting stuff on my Facebook page. That should never be a conversation I'm having with an adult. An adult should understand no. Listen, atheist community, no still means no. Nobody owes you an explanation for their no. If you want to post something on my page and I say no, that's where that stands. If I have to block it, you're just a jackass. All right. So once someone has already demonstrated that type of behavior, why would I further engage in conversation with that person? Because then instead of one of us being a fool, then both of us are. So I did reach out to her husband, who I did not have a relationship with. And this is actually the transcript of the voice message that I sent. So this is what I said. Hi, John. I hope you're having a wonderful day. Listen, I don't know you that well or your family, which I've constantly stood by. I don't know these people. I don't know these random people who think they should be exercising authority in my life just because they've seen my content. And I said, so I don't know what the issue is right now, but I want to make something absolutely clear. I don't traffic in drama on my Facebook page. Cynthia tried to stir some drama on my page. I asked her politely to keep that on her own page. I have no fucking clue why your wife calls herself questioning me about why I asked somebody else to keep something off my page. I don't know what y'all do in this community, but I don't owe any of y'all anything as far as what I do on my page. I need y'all to understand that. I've never done anything wrong to y'all. I've never said anything bad about y'all. So I don't know where this shit is coming from. But no, I don't owe her a fucking explanation. So please, and we'll go to the next one. All right. No fucking clue why your wife calls herself questioning me. So I don't know where this shit is coming from, but no, I don't owe her a fucking explanation. So please, y'all have that conversation. Other than that, I'm just going to block y'all because I don't know where the fuck this shit is coming from. And I don't do petty. And so the line, but no, I don't owe her a fucking explanation. So please, y'all have that conversation, okay? Because I don't know where the fuck this shit is coming from. That's what I say. And I don't do petty. I don't do petty. So you tell me, where is check your wife and where is control your wife? Okay. Now you may think, well, Darante, after we hear the audio, we may think something different. And I agree. But before we go to the audio, I got somewhere else that I want you to go. Because there's two claims that we're dealing with. The next claim is that Matt, what did Matt say? Let's read it in Matt's words. Matt said, we kicked him off the line. That's what Matt Dillahunty, Sans Deity, says. He says, we kicked him off the line. Okay. Let's let the record speak for itself. Why else bring the receipts if you're not going to show them? That's what this is. These are the receipts. Look at that. Okay, now do y'all see this? Now that says Jimmy Snow. Now, I could have put anybody's name in here and just coded it as Jimmy Snow. This could be anybody's number, but we'll read through it. And lucky you, there's some voice messages in this. But this is on Wednesday, October the 1st. When did my issue happen with the Gleasons? In November. Okay, so let's just read it. Okay. Hey man, I don't have availability for you next month. This is Jimmy talking to me, and we're trying to make the schedule right now. This is October 1st. Can you please get it done in the next 10 minutes? Make sure you change the month at the top to October. The app is set to automatically change to the month ahead. Usually you need to have this done well before the 1st so we can get the calendar done. No problem. I'm basically going to pick one at random and hopefully it works. If not, I guess we'll see if we can get someone to trade for a day that does, right? And then I left the audio message. It's an 18-second audio message. I can't play it because of the way that I'm screen sharing right now. But just like the other voice message, trust me, I'm going to come back and let you hear some of this because it's relevant. And basically, he says, are you hitting in the right place? Make sure you do it the right way. And this is the transcripted version of it. And he says, that's all I got. I leave another voice message. This is all October 1st. And then he says, dang, I was trying to call just to try and get it all worked out. So I do see a submission now, but you marked everything as no. Is that intentional or is that accidental? Just want to make sure. Because, yeah, I've got every Sunday and then Wednesday is all marked with red no's. So let me know if that was intentional, if you're trying to take the month off or you're into another something. And again, we will listen to it. I just need to read through it. And says, following up on that question in the last voice note. And then I says, yeah, I mentioned in the 18-second voice note above that I was taking the month off again while traveling. Who said that? Oh, that's me. That's me. And this is October. And he says, oh, dang. Yeah, I missed that. I was actively in the production meeting when I was getting that from you. So that lasted at the end. I didn't notice that last bit at the end. And again, I'm going to let you listen to these files as well, just so that you know whose voice that is on the other side of that. And then October 29th, again, this is before the incident has happened. Hey man, are you coming back in November? I really need everyone to hit their calendar availability ASAP. Link is on the Discord. And then October 30th, he messaged again, bumping this by tomorrow at noon. I can't wait anymore to do the schedule. And October 30th, that morning, 7:39 a.m., I said, hey, just go ahead and take me off the schedule indefinitely. Thanks. Now, does that sound like me getting kicked off the line? Or does that sound like what I've constantly been very upfront and transparent about, is that I resigned from the line and had been taking a break from the line 2 months before I resigned from the line because I was no longer comfortable being there. Now, I've shared that. And that had nothing to do with anybody personally for the most part, which Jimmy responded, that really bums me out to hear. Any chance you'll share with me why? And of course, I did not respond. That's me. That's me. All right. So now that we got that out the way, I'm going to stop sharing my screen. Yoink. So that now we can switch over a little bit. So again, just to show you, this is the same call. All right. This is the same text thread. I'm just going to press play. And that first voice you're going to hear is mine.
Sorry I missed your call, man. I just saw it. Yeah, I tried to submit it yesterday twice. I thought it went through the second time, but I guess it didn't. But I actually just requested off for the whole month because I am wrapped up with travel and trying to get this schedule recalibrated.
All right, that's me. That's the 18-second message I sent. And I sent that message. And of course, you saw the back and forth that he and I went through with texting. And just to, again.
Are you hitting the right place, the calendar.qnaline.com? Because it's worked for everybody else, so I just don't know.
Okay, do you recognize that voice? No, that's my schedule thing. Let me move that out the way. Move. Okay, you recognize the name.
Default to November, but let me see if I can see.
And does it match the voice? So what you just saw here, ladies and gentlemen, is a conversation between me and Jimmy Snow in October that we had been having for all of October long, because I had not been on the line in September nor October, and I had asked to be taken off the schedule. As you can see in that one, I had already signed up to be removed from the schedule. He did not catch it in the 18-second message that I sent that you clearly hear. And he, of course, he says later, oh, I didn't catch it on the last end. I was in a production meeting. And I'm sure whatever it is. But then I made it clear through text message, hey, take me off indefinitely. Now, I had already been very clear around that time with my audience that I wasn't comfortable on the line. I honor the work that they do. I'm glad that somebody does the work. And I've even done a whole video on explaining the value that has, in some ways, explaining the value that it has. I don't attack anybody in this community. I don't, that's just really not who I am. So for someone like Matt Dillahunty to be going that extra step and telling people that no, not only, in one, he implied that I was removed from the line because I was a misogynist. The next one, he flat out stated as a fact that he was a part of the kicking out process. We kicked him off. What did it say? Let me make this Biggie screen again for me. What did it say? We kicked him off. We kicked him off the line. That's what Matt Dillahunty said. But you just seen in my text messages, you just saw the conversation with me and Jimmy Snow that I was already taking myself off the line and had already resigned from the line prior to this incident that took place in November. So now that should be clear. Darante wasn't fired from the line. And just to be honest, anyone who believed that, maybe you shouldn't believe something just because somebody says it. Hello. Which community are we supposed to be a part of again? But then the next one, which is equally as hurtful, is that Darante is a misogynist. Now, I've already read the transcript, but surely you can say, Darante, you could have easily just doctored that transcript, and you're right. I could have just doctored it. So let's not depend on me just showing you a transcript. Why not listen to the actual words that I said? So let's try it this way.
Hi, John. I hope you're having a wonderful day. Listen, I don't know you that well or your family, so I don't know what the issue is right now. But I want to make something I want to make something absolutely clear. I don't traffic in drama on my Facebook page. Cynthia tried to stir some drama on my page. I asked her politely to keep that on her own page. I have no fucking clue why your wife calls herself questioning me about why I asked somebody else to keep something off my page. I don't know what y'all do in this community, but I don't owe any of y'all anything as far as what I do on my page. I need y'all to understand that. I've never done anything wrong to y'all. I've never said anything bad about y'all. So I don't know where this shit is coming from. But no, I don't owe her a fucking explanation. So please, y'all have that conversation. Other than that, I'm just going to block y'all because I don't know where the fuck this shit is coming from. And I don't do petty.
And folks, there you have it. That's the That's what I said. Uh, that's how I said it. I've given you the context of why I said it. And if you think I'm a misogynist after that, that's on you. I don't think I'm a misogynist, but that's not really an argument that I'm going to make. If you really want to know if Darante is a misogynist, you don't ask men. You'd ask the women in my life. You'd start with my wife, my daughters. You start with the women who work at Bridge City. You'd start with people who are actually somewhat close to me. But again, that's not even something I try to argue with you. I wouldn't even know where to begin there because we're strangers. But the second one was Darante fired from the line for being a misogynist? Did Matt Dillahunty kick Darante off of the line because of being a misogynist? Was Darante doing stuff on the line as a misogynist? Who would I have been doing them with when all of my co-hosts were male? This is just me setting the record straight. I won't need to call any names. I won't need to label anybody, but I did need to get this off my chest. I was not fired, and I don't consider myself a misogynist. I mean, if you do, that's on you. But for those of you who took the time to stay through to this video, I appreciate your time. I appreciate you for honoring me to sit through this diatribe. And I hope you learned something about me. I hope you learned something about yourself. And I hope you learned something about this space. Um, if it's this easy to tell a lie about somebody and massive people believe it in this type of community, are we really the critical thinkers that we think we are? Are we really the skeptical thinkers that we think we are? And perhaps most importantly, are we the humanist that we think we are? I don't want to say forgive, but I'd overlook the misogynist accusations because, as I said in the beginning, that could be highly subjective for different people based off of their lived experiences. And I couldn't say beyond a shadow of a doubt that you're being dishonest and trying to attach that label to me. I could say you're wrong, but I couldn't say you're being dishonest. I don't know your lived experience. But what Matt Dillahunty did is absolutely dishonest. This man, without a shadow of a doubt, used his platform to spread lies about me. That's what he did. He used his name to create a story about me. Now, I don't know if Jimmy Snow knows that Matt is out here saying that the line fired me for being a misogynist. I'd be very interested in finding out because at this moment, this is in slanderous territory. I'd wonder, what is it in Matt's mind and personality that made him sit down and craft up a lie and then attach it to me publicly, without shame, without fear?